Good afternoon, everyone. So, in the last class, we have started discussing about EVM, that means electron beam machining. Already, I have discussed what is the working principle of EVM. Then, in the last class, I have also discussed about different process parameters, what are the influence of all the process parameters, and even I have discussed about diffusion pump, which is very important part of this EVM process in order to generate vacuum in the electron beam gun, right? So in today's class, I'll be discussing you for a few more things. Like we have already studied about different process parameters, etc. Now, what will be the machining characteristics? Okay, so today we will mainly focus on machining or hole characteristics. I already said that EVM process is generally used for generation of hole, or you can say like drilling operation. So machining characteristics we can also call as hole characteristics, hole or machining characteristics. Okay. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to draw a diagram, which you people also draw along with me, and then one by one, I'll be discussing all these points. So, you might have seen that, say, we have got workpiece up to this much, and at the bottom, we will have that auxiliary material, which already I have discussed in the last class. So, here, say, our hole will look like this. Here we have got the bulb, right? So this one is nothing but the workpiece, and here we have the auxiliary material. Well, so I already said you that the diffusion will be more, or melting and vaporization will be more, and this auxiliary material will get melt, and then somehow this molten material has to come out in this path. It has to come out from this path. Already this thing I have discussed. Okay, so uh, the shape of the hole or the characteristics of the hole will discuss the machining characteristics in this case. Okay, so typically what happens? Typically, the problem in electron beam machining in the EVM, the main characteristics is formation of recast layer. Okay, formation of recast layer. Now, what happens? I have told you already that from here, this molten part has to come out in this way. So once it is coming out, so from this path, from this path, the molten metal will try to come out. And once it comes out, here you can see in this zone, okay, some amount of molten metal will be cast. Okay, will get cast. So what happens finally, you can find that here some taper form will come, which is also called as reverse tapering. Okay, so this is the workpiece here up to this. Okay, this is the workpiece, and here we have got the auxiliary material, say up to here. Okay, and from this way we will be evacuating the molten metal. Okay, so while moving in this path, some amount of molten metal will get deposited in this zone. Okay, so this will be nothing but a recast layer. Recast layer. Fine. Okay, so this is something recast layer, and at the entry point, this is entry point, at the entry point. Okay, now we are going to get this hole because of melting and vaporization of material. And as I have said that we will be we will be focusing on this plane of focusing, the EBM, or that electron beam. So plane of focusing, that is very important. We need to know about it. Okay, so it can be seen in a particular diagram. And second thing, I have said that there will be reverse tapering. General taper means what? It will be like this. But in this case, what is happening? It is something like this. So this is taper, and this is reverse taper. This is reverse taper. Okay. So reverse tapering we are going to get over here, right? Second thing, you write it. The third point is what? Third point is we have to know about this auxiliary support, which plays a vital role in EVM. Now, fourth point is we are not going to have any bar at all. That means it will be bar-free operation. Already I have discussed what is bar in previous machining processes. Bar-free process. Okay. Number 5. Very minimum heat affected zone. Very minimum heat affected zone, because you know very well that due to heat affected zone, the material property may get altered. So our intention is to check whether the heat affected zone is less or not. Otherwise, that machining process will not be suitable at all. Okay. Next, what is the dimension of the diameter which we can achieve? It will be somewhere in between 100 microns to 2 mm dia of the hole. Okay. Then length versus depth ratio should be somewhere around 10 to 15. Okay. Now, seventh, we can machine, or we can make the whole process in almost any materials. It may be metal or non-metal, anything. So almost any material can be machined. Okay. Now another one point is a shallow angle up to 20 degree. What is the meaning of shallow angle? See, in this case, what we have done, this angle is nothing but 90 degree. That means completely with vertical direction you are drilling, right? But sometimes our intention is to drill in this direction. Say, for example, this is the workpiece, okay, and you want to generate this kind of hole in this direction, okay. So this angle must be maximum of 20 degree. Got the point? Okay. So this is called shallow angle, right? So shallow angle also can be produced using this EDM, sorry, what is this EVM process? Okay, and I hope you people understood what is this shallow angle. Okay, now next, I hope you people have noted down. Shall I have to wait, or you people have noted down? Anybody, please respond. Hello, anybody listening to the class? Okay, so have you noted down, Nitish?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, right. Now we'll move forward. Okay. So next topic is EBM speed characteristics. So EBM speed characteristics, right? Now in EBM speed characteristics, I'll just draw a graph and then I'll explain. Well, so in EVM means speed characteristics, why we should study it? We need to know how fast we can machine any hole. Okay, or we can also find out the volume of material removal, or like how fast the hole is getting generated. Okay, so here I will draw two slots or two spots. One spot is this one, and another spot will be something like this. Okay, right. So here you can say x direction volume of material, or spot size you can say, and this side you can say like speed n. Okay, uh, so or in speed characters, how many number of holes we can generate, to that we can see from here. Okay, so you can see the number of holes per second. It can be this is actually speed characteristics. This is one you keep n. So n is number of holes which can be produced per second. Okay, now this complete one, it signifies titanium or aluminium, if we are measuring titanium or aluminium, and this one says ferrous alloys. Okay, so it can be ferrous. Now what happens that means titanium and this aluminium alloy, you can find the number of holes per second are more compared to the ferrous alloys. Okay, that means we can see like the speed will be more in case of titanium or aluminium if we are machining it. Okay, so why? Because you know very well that aluminium melts much faster at a much lower temperature, so it requires very less energy. And in case of titanium, its thermal conductivity is poor, so the energy is concentrated more. Okay, right? And that is the reason why titanium also, like in this case also, number of holes per second can also be more, right? So this is something about EVM speed characteristics. Okay, Now, few more thing, one more thing I just want to tell you, like regarding spot or how we are managing the spot. Okay, so the focus of, suppose for example, here we have got the workpiece. Okay, so three cases I will draw and explain. So one, two, three. So number one, we can focus it or focus all the beam here. It depends on this. So here only crater will form. Another one is you can focus like this in this way. Okay, so here it will be focused. So in order to get more this one, okay, we can go for it. And another one thing, like which kind of hole can be generated in which case, that also I'll be telling you. Okay. Another one is you can generate or you can focus somewhere here. Okay. So this is the focusing point. Now, what kind of hole will get generated? If you are doing like this, okay, if you're focusing like this, then you will get hole something like this. Okay. If you are doing this, then the hole will become something like this. And if you are doing in this way, so the hole will be something like this. Got the point? So the depth of penetration will be different in this case. Okay, you can see here the concentration is somewhere here. That is the reason why this will be, or this is delta will be more in this case. Okay, so this is delta 1, if this is delta 2, and this is delta 3. Okay, so you can see that delta 3 is greater than delta 1, which is even greater than delta 2. Okay, so this is something means a different kind of holes, as I said, can be generated. Hmm. So I hope you people have noted down. I hope you people have drawn these diagrams. Okay, so draw it. Now, actually, in your textbook, very less information is given. All these things are not at all there in your textbook. So better you people follow this. We never know. Like if you know it, some you can write in better way in a exam hall. Okay. Now next. So we have done everything or everything about this EBM process. Okay. Now we will be knowing what are the advantages and limitations of EVM. Okay, right? Okay. So advantage. Point number one, better you note down whatever I'm saying, that very high drilling rates. Okay, or drilling rate is very high when small holes are small holes with large aspect ratio are to be drilled. Okay, so very high drilling rate when small holes when small holes with large aspect ratio. So what is the meaning of aspect ratio? Already I have discussed about L by D ratio, which is somewhere around 10 to 15 can be possible. Okay. So if it is more, then we can tell like the aspect ratio is high. Okay. Now, second one, that we can machine almost any material. Okay, better you note down. I'm telling we can machine almost any material. Third point, you note down remaining points. I'm just telling. So, in this case, we are not going to apply any metal cutting process or some mechanical kind of cutting process. That's the reason why we need not apply, or we need not use any sort of fixturing devices in order to hold the workpiece firmly, as we are not having any generation of force during cutting. So fixturing cost and all these things also can be reduced for that. Okay. Next, we can also process fragile and brittle materials easily, because it is something like heating process. So as we are not going to apply any sort of force, so completely stress free operation will be generated. Mechanical stress I am saying about. Okay. And because of that, it will we can machine irrespective of fragile and brittle materials. Next, heat affected zone, okay, which is very important. HAZ, heat affected zone in EVM is very less, as we are applying shorter pulses. Okay, the pulse is very short. That's the reason why the heat affected zone, or HAZ, will be very small. Okay, or it will be very less. Next, you can see like the beam, what is that, this beam spot size, okay, or holes of any shape can be produced by combining the beam deflection using electromagnetic coils. Our intention of keeping electromagnetic coil is to control the beam deflection, and by using that, we can even get any kind of shape. Already I have discussed about engraving operation in the previous few classes. Then that engraving process also can be done using this EVM process, or EVM with CNC techniques with high accuracy can be made. Okay. So not only advantages, this EVM also has got some limitations. So what are those limitations? We need to produce vacuum in the chamber, as well as we need to produce electron. And you might have already seen that we have to keep somewhere around hundreds of kilovolts. Okay. So in that regard, the capital cost of the equipment and necessary maintenance which is applicable for this process is costly. Okay, so we have to go for high capital cost, or high capital cost. So this is one limitation. Then another one, that non-productive pump. Okay, non-productive pump down period for attaining desired vacuum is another one thing. Like only thing is that we have to get vacuum. So for that, we have discussed about that this diffusion pump, which is actually not used for doing any kind of work, only to create vacuum. Okay, so that is something, is another one aspect which is a drawback of EBM. However, this can be reduced to some extent using vacuum load locks. Then another one thing is heat affected zone. Heat affected zone, it is less, but the problem is, I have shown in this diagram about recast layer which cannot be completely ignored. Okay, HZ is less, but recast layer, so that will lead in cylindricity error. You might have already studied what is cylindricity error, okay, what is circularity, etc. So cylindricity error I was talking about. So this is something, this problem you may face, or you can see, okay, in case of this EVM process, right? This is all about EBM. Now, another one thing which we need to study is electron beam welding. It not only does machining, it also EBW, electron beam welding. Now we'll study about EBW or electron beam welding, and then we will move to the next one, next topic. So as I said that machining can be done using electron beams, fine, but welding also can be done. So electron beam welding or EBW is a fusion welding process in which a beam of high velocity of electrons is applied to two materials to be joined. So you know very well what is a welding process. It is metal joining process. So in the joining process, we are not using any sort of arc. Instead of that, we are going to concentrate the electron beams similar to electron beam machining process. And here also we have to generate high heat and then melt workpiece. And similar to EBM, EBW or electron beam welding also is done under vacuum condition to prevent dissipation of electron beams. Okay. So long back in nearly on 1950s or 1949, somewhere around that time, this electron beam welding was first developed. Okay, and it was used in some applications in Germany. And after that, it has they have created this EBM machine or EBW machine, and then war operation started somewhere after 10 years. Okay, now the physics behind it. What is the physics behind EBW? The physics behind EBW is exactly similar, okay, to the EBM. But in that case, what happens, like if we use power density, already I have shown you one graph about power density. Okay, means that only will create the difference between EBM and EBW. So you may be asking this question. So same process. What is the meaning of what is the difference between EBM and EBW? Because in EBM we have generated some holes, but in this case we are going to join two materials. Okay. Now here I'd like to say you a few things like the effectiveness of this electron beam. It depends on many factors. Okay, so the most important factor is the physical property of the materials which are to be welded, especially the case in which they can be melted or vaporized under low pressure conditions. And the EVW can be it can be so intense that the loss of material due to evaporation or boiling due to the process must be taken into account when going to welding, because like EBM process you might have seen that it is melted and vaporized. So here also metal deposition will be there, it will be joining two materials, that is okay, but some part will get vaporized, so that you have to take into account. At lower values of surface power density, then in that case the loss of material by evaporation is negligible for most materials, and that time only it will be favorable for welding. So what is happening, I said that if the surface power density is somewhat less, that means power density I was talking about. So if it is somewhere around 10 to the power 3 watt per mm square, so in that small value, what happens? The loss of material by evaporation will be negligible for most of the metals. So in that case, we can consider that okay, this condition is favorable for welding. And at high power density, okay, so then the material affected by the beam can be totally evaporated in so very short span of time, and that time it cannot be used for welding, it can be used for machining, remember it. So what is the factor which is differentiating EBM and EBW? The power density or surface power density. So low surface power density, in that case we can perform EBW, that means electron beam welding. And high surface power density, in this case we have to go for EBM. Okay, this is the difference. Understood? Clear, everyone? Okay. Now uh, next part is, like, already you people might have understood what is the beam generation process and how it is penetrating. Okay, so all these things you might have studied, but few things which you need to know is the result of EBM or EBW application. Okay, so results. This is something which we need to focus on. Number one is beam power. Number one is beam power. So the power of the beam, okay, which is in watt, is product of the accelerating voltage and beam current. Already in last class I have discussed. Okay, so power of beam is nothing but the product of accelerating voltage, which is in kV, kilovolt, and the beam current, which is in milliampere. Okay, so this is about beam power. Now all this can be easily measured, or we can measure it easily with precise controls or controllers. And the power is controlled by the beam current at a constant accelerating voltage, usually the highest which can be accessible. Second is power density. So that means focusing of the beam. The power density at the spot of incidence of the beam with the workpiece depends on factors like the size of the electron source of the cathode, then the optical quality of the accelerating electric lens, and the focusing magnetic lens. It depends on what? It depends on the quality or the size of source. Size of source. Okay. Sources of what? The sources of electron on cathode side. Then optical quality. Okay, of the accelerating electric lens, and the quality of focusing magnetic lens. Okay, so these are three things which we need to remember. Okay, and the value of accelerating voltage and the focal length and alignment of beam. So these factors are depending on the design of machine. Okay. Third point is welding speed. Third one is welding speed. So what should be the welding speed? The construction of the welding equipment should enable adjustment of the relative speed of motion of the workpiece with respect to the beam in a wide range limit. Okay, so what should be the range limit? It should be somewhere in between 2 to 50 per second. Okay, right? So this is third one. Fourth one is what? Fourth one is material property. One more thing which you need to remember is like welding of dissimilar materials can also be possible by this or by EBW. Okay, so fourth one is material property, and we can even go for this geometry of the shape of joint. Okay, geometry of the joint, right? So the final effect of the beam will depend on few parameters or combination of few parameters. Okay, and the action of the beam should be at low power density or over a short period of time. So that time only we can find a thin surface layer. Then if a defocused beam we are sending, then it cannot penetrate, and then the material at low welding speed will be heated only by conduction of heat from the surface, which will produce hemispherical melting zone. Already in the last page I have shown this. Okay, this thing. Here I have already shown this, right? And then at high power density and low speed, then a deeper and slightly conical melted zone can be produced. Okay, and so these are few things like three parts which I have shown already in the last class. So that characteristics will get in case of EBW also. Okay, now okay, we'll finish it today. Now about the weldability, we need to know about the weldability. So what is weldability? Weldability. So for welding thin parts or thin wall parts, appropriate welding aids uh, should be essential, or those are essential. Okay, and you must know that all metals can be welded by electron beam in a vacuum, and this technology cannot be applied to materials with high vapor pressure at melting temperature, which is something like you can go for like you cannot go for like a zinc, you cannot go for cadmium, you cannot go for magnesium, and other non-metals that can be machined but that cannot be welded. Okay, clear, because of high vapor pressure and at their melting temperature. Okay, so because of that welding is not possible, machining is possible. Now we have got another limitation of weldability, which may be the change of material properties induced by the welding process, like you can say high speed of cooling can also affect. Okay, so many other things are also there. Like, as I said, the joining of dissimilar materials is also possible. Okay, joining of dissimilar materials. Okay, joining of dissimilar materials. Okay, so generally, like what happens in normal welding process, it will not be possible to join two metal components by normal welding process. Okay, reason is that we have to melt both the parts in the vicinity of joint. Okay, and those two materials or metals especially may have different properties from their alloys. And due to all these things, or due to the creation of brittle intermetallic compounds, the situation cannot be changed even by electron beam heating in vacuum. Okay, but still, like, we can make it possible. Okay, to make these joints melting at high temperature. Okay, so if the vacuum tight condition is kept, or into the complete structure is very much compact, in that case it is somewhat possible. Okay, these things anyhow are not that important as of now for especially your exam point, but still you must know it. Okay, now as I said already that the power supply in this case also must be in hundreds of kilovolts, so we can range it from 60 to 150 kV, 60 to 150 kilovolt. So I said high voltage is required. Okay, so generally we can keep it, but accelerating voltage may be chosen between 30 to 200 kilovolt, but we generally choose this range. Okay, 30 also is possible, up to 200 also we can go for, but generally we can go for it. Okay, but especially in case of welding, generally we go for this one. Okay, 60 kilovolt we generally choose, because otherwise it will lead to EBM, electron beam cutting or machining or drilling process. Okay, so this is something about EBM and EBW. I hope some idea you people got about this machining process. Now, if you have any question to ask me, you can feel free to ask.